Oh, how I love Jesus. Oh, how I love Jesus. Oh, how I love Jesus. What a friend we have in Jesus. All the sins and griefs to bear. What a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer. This is what is a good thing to do these days. Would be to take everything to God in prayer. And, when you have a friend like Jesus, the King of Kings who comes, then it's good to just bear it all to him. And in a day when doctrines of men have been making sons of hell for way too long, and the fake church and its liars are becoming more exposed daily, be a good time to get away from things like once saved, always saved, eternal security, rapture theory, many of these, including Trinity. No, these are not things to fall on your sword for the King of Kings, who's not giving a theology test. He's just ready for all to bow to him. So if you're really worried about the end times theology, you might want to get off the doctrinal traps that stick like glue to your brain and your heart until you get so yeasty and beastly you can no longer see a king because the princes have taken over your heart. And who you prayed to as Lord was not that king. So beware which men you trust right now, especially the accredited ones, as I have never sought any of these accreditations, but to please my king and to know him and help others to know him who will come for his kingdom on earth 1,000 years. So please simplify your life and your head and all these things. Breathe some air for a change, and put a potato in your exhaust pipe if you want to play games. But don't be a mummy when denial's not a river in Egypt. And the king's coming for a spotless bride, not a apparently dead one. So, if you would like to awaken to the truth of the coming king, you need to take a bath from all the doctrines of men that make sons of hell more daily. As the end times passages that really matter now, especially right now, would be Revelation 2, where the fakers like the Nicolaitans and the Synode Satan become quite clearly yelled at by the king who's coming as judge. And then 1 Corinthians 3 shows that he will have a bema judge seat, where gladiator style we all get to see what was in each of these teachers' hearts as they claim to know. Not a king? What? So if you are hearing a preacher who doesn't like to talk about a king, you might want to finally exit and stop putting your money in that ring. Because that would be the fellowship of the ring, not the fellowship of my king. And if you want to keep knowing a Jesus I never knew, well, we've got plenty of angels of lights playing that role. So, heart check, brain check. Remember oxygen and lack of it make a big difference to how your brain works. So if you look like a mummy too much, you might think like one too, and that might be part of these princes' plan to, well, exterminate some of us. So, which plan are you on, and what are you breathing exactly? And how does your brain work? And why do I keep trying to yell to wake people up? Is it my craziness, or is it the fog everybody's in? They seem to be in some trance, as if the zombie state has already come. It just hasn't been yet seen how zombie some of these people really are, because he who hears, let him hear. Well, there seems to be a lot of deaf ears, so I don't quite understand why the king has been deleted. And Philippians 2 says every knee on earth will bow to him. So you just need to get rid of all these doctrines and ask the king, please help me, Lord, to figure out truth and to stop getting caught up in these lies. Because Revelation 22 will come true with the 7 seas of lies drying out, along with all that fake salt that's killing the fish already. And then for 1,000 years, we can see in his kingdom how lies took away the oceans, and they won't do it again. So it's a good time to dwell in truth and start following the golden rule and get ready for the king and stop playing silly doctrine games and trusting in them, because that day will come when many will go, Lord, Lord, in your name I trusted this doctrine. And he will say, depart from me, I don't know you, you iniquity specialist, thinking you work for a king, but not me? Well, that's a little sticky situation, like a doctrinal glue trap from hell. So you better double check what you're believing in, and who and why, and that hell is not made for people, but for demons. So if you're thinking most people will roast in there, not you, well, that's not a faith that the king would be happy to know, because he believes in, well, it's written that every knee on earth will bow. So start believing that truth and get off your doctrinal Pharisee lies, which just are recycled from these same originals that the king came and exposed and they killed him for. And they've been multiplied many times. And what was dens of thieves has now become malls with God stores everywhere. And that God store doesn't have the king in it mostly that I know or have seen. But wow, they've got doctrines and glue traps obscene. So leave your doctrines today and trust in the King of Kings before he comes and tells many, depart. I don't know you, because you don't want to be in an ugly part of the kingdom for 1,000 years. Then it will be easier to count these times as all joy, even if they are rough, because you're looking for 1,000-year reward for whatever you might go through, as the dollar's turning to peso anyway, and red blue pill does not work. It only will bring purple rain from the king who comes for truth and gold. And the greatest reset of loving God right and your neighbor as yourself. So just get on the right page with the king. Figure out the doctrines you need to shed today. And then, when he comes, you might have a chance that he will say, well done. Serve me this way for 1,000 years. And you will say, I love you, Lord. Not, oh dear, I thought I knew him. That's not where you want to be. On that day coming soon, when he divides the wheat from the chaff, and it seems like there's way too much chaff here. So get away from the chaffies and get with the king and his true remnant, which in Revelation 7, you could just pick a tribe, because if your heart's right, I don't think he's going to be doing blood tests on you. Don't you see how even bigots have taken over our theologies? So let's focus on the king to come, and that all will bow. Just get ready to start doing it today. Then it will go much better starting now. At least as soon as the king comes. And that's the most important thing. So don't worry about right now whatever nightmares you may think they bring, because those princes who think they're reigning so lovely right now, their cards are collapsing rapidly. So just focus on the king and what he's got in store for all, as all will bow. So why not start now?